Alright, I'll say, how are you all this evening of your time as you create time to exist?
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Greetings to you all.
Greetings to you.
We begin this interaction this evening of your time with a little bit of, shall we say, our perspective on this idea of individuality, this idea of what we shall label the eyes of creation. All that is exactly that. All that is. And each and every one of you are a point of view of all that is. And in that sense, you are truly, individually each an eye of creation. One of the many infinite eyes through which all that is does perceive itself, both collectively and individually. And you may view yourselves as one of these eyes. We have spoke to you in great depth of the idea of unity in diversity, and in effect your society, as it does realize and grant validity to the idea of diversity, shall achieve the unity which you do seek, both again individually and collectively. We perceive the energy of your civilization as crystallizing along these unified lines. However, very often during a process of this type, when moving from one vibrational state of reality to the idea of the next vibrational state of reality, specifically in your case, third density to fourth density, very often during this transition, as you have all noticed, and you are in some degree experiencing, there is somewhat of the idea of a breaking down of your older belief system generated realities prior to the inception of what we have called the ecstatic explosion of coincidence. One of the main ideas in facilitating this process is the granting of validity to diversity, and realizing that you do not lose your individuality when indeed you do grant validity to diversity. One of the ways in your society, from a third density viewpoint, in which you have invalidated the idea of diversity, is through your mechanism of what you call judgment. To use an analogy that we have used before, although it may be new to some of you, you presently, when viewing your third dimensional physical reality, do so through one of your senses, your sense of sight, in what has been called a stereoscopic way, a stereoscopic integration, in which you perceive visually through the idea of two eyes. These eyes although integrated their fields of vision are within your minds, do, however, slightly see different, shall we say, viewpoints. One eye does indeed see slightly differently from the other. However, you do not rebuke one eye for seeing differently than the other eye, for that would not serve you in that way. What indeed is the case is that when combining these separate points of view within your visual perception, it allows you, by combining these slightly different perspectives, to have perspective. And this is the very idea of the eyes of creation, being very diverse and allowing collectively a overall perspective. Therefore, to translate this into more practical terms, more practical terminology, although one may not expound or reflect a reality that is in, shall we say, accord with your idea of reality, you're invalidating that other idea, in effect, is cutting your own self off from all aspects of all that is. Therefore, we suggest, you do not have to, it's up to you, as everything always is. However, we suggest that you pay particular attention in both interactions you have recently participated in and forthcoming interactions, in granting validity to others whose points of view do differ from yours. Because by doing so, by having unconditional acceptance for all creations, all points of view, you are then not only integrating yourself on an individual level, you are also providing an example that one may have a belief system that is not mutually exclusive of all others. And this, in a sense, will begin the momentum that we speak of this unity in diversity. What we are saying is, it has to begin somewhere. Why not start in your own backyard? We are not in any way, shape, or form chastising you. We are not in any way, shape, or form placing judgment upon you. We are simply reading the energy collectively of this group and responding to what we believe is a neutral situation that has occurred, that has been interpreted along your older belief systems. And we simply suggest that you explore these ideas. Do not, as we have said, beat yourself up in these explorations. Judging yourself for judging is just really more of the same idea of judgment. Separating this idea and one step further by judging the judgment. However, as these situations do arise, understand they are, as we have said, and will continue to say, that they are shining allowing opportunities for you to not only redefine your belief systems, but also opportunities for you again to provide reflections to others that such a way of existing is so. Are you all following along so far?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
One moment. Open your eye of creation widely. Allow your eye to appreciate the eyes of others. Allow a situation whereby you find yourself within judgment to provide a reflection to you and an understanding that there is an alternative to this approach of judgment, and that any situation is inherently neutral. We do not mean to sound, as you say, upon your planet like a broken record. However, this does indeed cut to the crux of where some of you are being, in your terminology, although from our perspective this never does actually occur. However, you will understand, from your perspective, what has been blocking many of you toward accessing other parts of your consciousness for lack of judgment, lack of that vibration of judgment, brings along with it the idea of ultimate receptivity. When you no longer continue to place judgments upon yourself and others, you open up your idea of receptivity, your, in this sense, feminine aspect, is nurtured. Therefore, glean positive meaning from any idea, from any entity, from any book, any television show, any group. For it is always up to you to label any situation, and that label will ultimately result in a manifestation along the lines of that label. As you say upon your planet, enough said about that idea.
Well put.
Now, this evening of your time, for various reasons, shall we say, from our end, our interaction will be of less timing, less duration. So we shall now move in our appreciation to you for sharing this reality, co-creating and remaining persistent in redefining your reality, even when the idea of repetition does arise. You are all doing very well at persisting in redefining these realities. We are very proud of you. We are watching in delight, joy, and ecstasy each time something which may have in your past overwhelmed you no longer has that ability, for it never had that ability aside from your creating it to be so. And you are now choosing to take back that creation, own that creation, transform that creation to what you prefer. And we wish to state that your progress is, as you say, occurring in quantum leaps. And that goes for everybody, not only present in this interaction, but of this group. In exchange for your willingness to co-create and begin to persist in raising your vibration to a vibration whereby we and you can coexist in both this sense and the physical sense. We ask you now, how may we be of service to you?